Episode 25 has now begun. We are back. We are waiting for Corey to come to us from the light. You see the light. We're waiting for him to come. I was hoping this timing was going to work out way better, but it doesn't appear that it is. So, adreN, thanks for coming on the show.
What's up, guys?
How are you doing?
Good. Just chilling. Waiting for these matches tonight with Mythic.
True. The best team.
Another flawless Counterstrike going to be played tonight. Can't wait.
More flawless, perfect Counterstrike from the Mythic boys tonight. Well, thank you for coming on. Obviously, very, very much appreciate it. Of course, we still have Alex. We still have Pernogo producing. We, after, it's weird. Nobody asked for this once in any deathmatch or on Twitter. Nobody asked for us to come back and do another show, but we just decided on our own accord to come back and do
Not
this.
A single request.
Not a single request. All right, so first things first, since we do have adreN on, and we haven't done a show in months, I want to just bring up a small thing that happened a little while ago. The ESIC coaching bans. I think that I think it's fair. I think it's fair to bring it up. I think it's just a small thing.
36 or 37?
I think it was 37. Yeah, I think it was 37.
Yeah, that's insane. Like right off the bat, I just want to say, for the 20 months I was coaching Liquid, this shit never happened one single time to me. Not one single time, and not a single other coach ever said anything to me. So I didn't even know it existed. And most of 2019, I was on LAN, so I wasn't really in the game. I was just standing behind them. And there wasn't much online CS in 2019, but at least for all of 2020 that I was with them, it never happened one single time. So it's pretty crazy that they were able to abuse this or somehow do it again and again.
Yeah, so I just want to bring up some of the big names. A lot of these people nobody will have ever heard of, but obviously regin from Mouse Sports is a very big name coach that got banned. Hunden, Dead, Gueri, Peta from NIP, Robin, Lord, ex Golden 5 player, StarX of course, which was hilarious by the way. Ave, LMBT from Hellraisers, although I think he got his ban overturned actually. And then
I think that just happened.
Yeah, and then Fetish from Heroic and Rugga from Dignitas. So some pretty big name coaches there. Corey, what did you think about this when this all happened?
Dude, I honestly was just waiting for the full list for a long time because I think we all probably thought there's probably more than the 2 or 3. I honestly when I saw how the bug worked, I thought this is basically wall hacking at a small scale. It's a lot of people are like, oh, bugs are in the game. If you find a bug, you can use it. But it's I agree mostly with that. Mostly I would agree with if you find a weird boost or you find a weird flashbang that can go over part of the map, maybe it's not supposed to, and you're the first to find it and use it, I can let that slide, or at least just overturn rounds, right? That's just how I think. Maybe not everyone agrees with me, but when you're literally able to sit top mid on Mirage and just tell your team that they can stack A or stack B based on your calls, this is just too big of an advantage that people have to be punished severely for it.
Yeah, I think I saw one where the coach camera got stuck at the game helper position at long A, Dust 2, and it was just this tells you every rotation you would ever really need. You can see into CT spawn, you see what the long guy's doing. Is he in pit? Is he at the corner?
Yeah.
You see what the guys on plat or ramp are doing. If he's relaying any of that info, it's just too easy for the team or for whatever.
I thought I heard that you could actually pick the spot where you wanted to glitch.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to be dead center A Mirage, you could just be all right, that's my spot. I don't know for sure.
The way Valve told me it worked was if you basically joined the server and if you're the first person in the server, you run around the map wherever you want to be and you type .coach, and wherever your body dies, you float into the air above that spot. I might be a little bit off on it. Maybe it doesn't work precisely like that, but that's how I was explained it. So you could kind of pick the area you wanted.
I wonder if they caught coaches because they were doing that. There's proof of them going to the perfect spot and then dog coaching.
Yeah. Well, they could see them moving their camera.
Yeah. The moving the camera shit is where they got them, I guess.
Dude, thank God all of these coaches have to record demos. You know what I mean? Thank God they have the actual coaches POV, because I was I didn't even realize that coaches had to actually record all of their own demos, or that there was coach demos. I didn't even know that was a thing until Michael, the guy who was doing all this stuff, came out and was yeah, I've looked through all of the coaches demos. I was shit, didn't even know coaches had demos.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, honestly.
I thought it was partially the GoTVs.
But can you? Was it just GoTV demos?
I think you can spec the coach's POV in a GoTV demo. Yeah.
Well, okay.
They made a
Apparently.
script that like would go through and find if like the XY axis of the camera always was stationary in like a spot, I think. So it could just automatically like tell if you were using it in a match.
Smart. You know, those guys are brilliant. So what do
But
we?
then they just
fucking
stumbled upon
losers.
they stumbled upon a world edit demo and were like, oh, that's just him not moving. Okay.
You know, that was actually just James sitting in CT spawn the whole round.
Yeah, exactly.
But like
So-
like adreN is a coach for Liquid in their prime, right? So like imagine you're coaching and you're just like above mid on Mirage versus Astralis. You'd win like 100%. Like
Yeah.
there's no way that Liquid would lose to Astralis.
Online,
like,
yeah.
Like
Because you could actually just talk and just do like,
Yeah.
like, guys, it's got this read. Like you didn't have to be that specific. You just guys go AXQ. Like he's I don't know. Whatever you know. Yeah.
Like I was thinking
Take CT
too,
control. Yeah.
and I was thinking like I saw people comparing this to like the big that big jumping bug that they did, although it wasn't that. I don't even know if you consider that a bug when they were doing that crouch jump thing at that one major, and then everybody had to do the gentleman's agreement not to do it because they found it out. People are comparing it to that. It was just like I don't think it's nearly on that level to begin with. You know, like it was kind of like what Corey said. Like there's something that just completely breaks the game. Like remember on Dust 2, Corey, in 1.6 on Cat, you could throw that flash into the wall on Cat and it would flash everybody in a site. It's like, okay, that's like that's a game breaking bug. You know what I mean? Like,
but what I always say about bugs like that is like if you do that, like you know something happened when you died to it. You know, like when you're playing, so you can go back and you could report that to an admin. And I wouldn't think that you should ban the player, but you could like -3/+3 rounds. You know, like that was like a
or
common
overturn
thing.
that game, right?
Exactly, like just the game, and then don't do it again. Like, but you know, months of ongoing abuse that is losing people qualification spots. It could get you cut from your team. It could make your org cut you. Like, you know, what if adreN is sitting here coaching his team and their team is just like, dude, we're just like, we need a better coach because like we're walking in these walls, but he's just losing to people that are fucking like like antiing him. Like it's like a big cascade effect, and that's like my biggest issue with it. Is not just that it's like a bug. It's just it's so like hard to you could never have known that they're doing it. Is my biggest issue.
Yeah, it's like, look, adreN, I don't know, man. I thought you were a pretty smart guy, but this other coach, he's outplaying you every game. He's outplaying you every game. Every single fucking time we play against Heroic, you're outclassed by Hunden. I don't know what to tell you. We can't do it.
These hard Legion guys.
These hard Legion guys are just fucking genius.
They're just reading us.
Dude, that coach like used it like every single round.
He didn't give a fuck.
He did not give a fuck. Going hard. But yeah, to go back to the big thing, it's kind of like reminds me of like just a scout. Like if you're just jumping with a scout at one point, you couldn't get hit in the head, right? At like the peak of your jump.
Well, you had to you could get hit in the head, but your hitbox would drop when you jumped. So you could only get hit in the head if you were showing like your chest and up, and then they shot you in the chest, then they could headshot you.
Yeah. So if you had like the perfect jump and only your fucking head was showing, like you could never actually get hit. I mean, you can abuse that, but I don't know. It's nothing like this coach bug for sure.
No, it's not. This is
you can run away from that guy.
He's glitching.
So who was? So I know this has kind of been beating a dead horse at this point, but I think we can all agree it was fucking hilarious when Dead got called out for using it and then outed himself on another round that wasn't even the round they were talking about. Like I think we can all agree that was fucking hilarious. It's like, man, come on, just take your L on the chin, bro. It's not that big of it's a big deal, but like it's not that big. Like Gueri, like Gueri got banned. Honestly, also Dead gets banned for 6.5 months. Gueri gets banned for 4 months. But I mean, Gueri just took it on the chin like a fucking champion.
Yeah. His like whole statement, everything was like pretty professional and I don't know. He handled it pretty well.
They had like the VODs or something of when they act their comms in the scrims or the matches. I mean, so they actually have evidence that he didn't do it. Apparently, I think they're still investigating it. Or
they have evidence that he didn't say anything.
Yeah, that he didn't say anything.
The problem with it is that because there was times in the game where he was tabbed in and he could see people on his screen. Yeah. Anybody in that room could have turned and looked at his screen and seen everything that he was showing. Right, that's the problem, which is why he had to get banned at least for a little bit. But I agree. I don't actually think he cheated. I don't think he abused it.
Yeah.
But just because of the possibility, there has to be some sort of punishment.
Yeah, I think the dead one is just extra malicious because that was, I think, at the CS Summit qualifier, and that was Triumph. That was them against Triumph, and that game went to, I think, 2 or 3 overtimes, if not more. And like, if they obviously lost that pistol round, it wouldn't have gone to overtime. Triumph would have won. They would have qualified for the main event, and who knows the trajectory of Triumph at that point? You know, like Grim still maybe on the team because he believes in it more. I mean, like he would probably have taken the liquid offer, but just saying like you don't exactly know, like maybe they don't put Spongy or something.
That move was also a little while in the works. That wasn't like a snap decision to get Grim. They've been working on that for a while.
But like also Triumph got rid of Spongy after that too and replaced him, and maybe they don't replace him, you know. So it's someone's livelihood.
No, you're right. 100%. It's total bullshit. What do we think about people who like admitted to it getting reduced sentences?
I think that's good. Personally. Okay. Because I feel like if you admit to it, it gives people in the future reason to out themselves for reduced sentences. So if someone like is cheating or there's something and they feel bad, or like they know like eventually I'm gonna get caught, so I want to reduce sentence, they can be like a whistleblower and have like some sort of like reduced sentence, or else there's literally no reason for anyone to ever out themselves. That's my only reason that I think that I like the reduced sentence.
I don't mind that, as long as it's not like a cut in half sort of thing. Like, still got to be punished.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
So at what point do you think lifetime bans are appropriate for people that were using this? Like at what metric, Alex? You first, if you think there should be lifetime bans at all, and if you do, then at what point?
It's tough to say. I guess I would say like 5 different tournaments you should be lifetime banned, because then you just are indiscriminately cheating constantly. So why would we want someone in the scene to do that? If it's once or twice, I feel like year long, 2 year long. I mean the numbers all seem kind of arbitrary for how long they wanted to actually ban people. It was just like what was it? It's like some cutoff that's like 10 rounds. If you do it for 10 rounds, I think you got like a 5-month ban, but if you did 11 rounds, then it was like 10 months. And it's like, okay, that's 1 round, but they just had to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's really tough to say exactly when it should be permanent or not. But if you cheat in like 5 or 4, like, you know, over 100 rounds, you're literally just, you would use any cheats, it seems like, at this point. So
what is the actual bans for cheating nowadays from
5
like
years?
ESL? 5 years? Okay.
Yeah, 5 years. Which is why I'm kind of torn on it, because it seems funny. It's like, well, if you just use this wall hack for 10 rounds and you only get a 6-month ban, but if you use this wall hack for 11 rounds, you get a 1-year ban. It's like, if this was somebody aimbotting or wall hacking, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying though. Like immediately it like switches in your brain like to something else, where it's like, oh, now all of a sudden, oh yeah, ban for life, get that person out of here forever, right? So
for
like
5 years, yeah.
So that's why it gets like it gets a little strange. Corey, what about you?
I don't know. I'm like one of those guys that I think if you went in the server and you only did it 1 time, even if you exploited it, I'm not saying you're a good person. I still think you're a shitty person. But if you didn't mean to do it and you're in the game and you're just like, oh, what the fuck? Like I can see shit and you don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
And like, then I would not really think the ban should be that long. I don't know exactly how long, but maybe like 3 months or less or something, like something tiny, because you only did it 1 time. You didn't purposely do it. It's kind of like someone like put a bag of Coke in your bag or something. You get home and like you didn't mean to buy the Coke and now you got it. Like still illegal, but like you didn't try to do it. You know, like I guess you could turn it to the police, but like, you know, I don't know, maybe a bad example,
or you could just snort it, like, you know,
or you could do the drugs, you know.
Well, yeah, if that shit happened to me and I was just like, my first initial thing wasn't to like type quit on console. I'd be like, I've been looking around, I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm stuck? Like, and I might have been glitched for a round, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't they?
That's what I mean. Is like if it was just like an accident and like and they did it for a round or 2 and then they leave or something. If you blatantly exploit it for the whole game, then I think probably like 6 months or something. But like if it was a round or 2, I don't know. Fuck it, whatever.
More than a round is where it gets sketchy for me. After the round ends, you got to get out. But for that first round, like you could be kind of like, what the fuck? I'm stuck, guys. Got to reconnect. Pause for me.
Are they really stuck, or can they just left click or right click to get out of it? Because I thought you could just click.
You can't even rejoin. I don't think. Like I think they couldn't even leave and rejoin, or they'd be back in the spot. I could be wrong on that, but like
sometimes.
Yeah, maybe not every time.
No, as far as I understand, it's every single time at the beginning of the coaching bug, you were stuck in it. You couldn't even trigger it properly. So like it wasn't even deliberate. But the last year, it got worse in the code base level. And they were actually able to trigger it deliberately, which is what I think it was you, Corey. You mentioned that they could just type coach or whatever. So That was
exactly.
That's what happened, I think.
Yeah, because I remember in the first game that Gueri did it in his video on Train. Because remember, it happened to him the first time on Train. I think this is why he got banned. Because it happened to him the first time on Train, and he, like you said, he sat in there for one round, didn't know what to do, and then he disconnects, reconnects, and he has like a weird third-person view of his players for one round, and then it goes back to normal. So, and then the second time it happened on Mirage, he just never disconnected. But
see, if he only did the first one, I wouldn't ban him. Personally.
Same. No, I
like
agree.
He tried to leave. Yeah. He reconnected. He played another round, and then it went back to normal. And then he's probably just sitting there like, "Well, what the fuck?" like he didn't mean to do it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, agreed. I think if it accidentally happens one time and then you disconnect right after, those people shouldn't really be banned.
Have you guys had the glitch on ESEA where it's you switch teams and then you're like your perspective is floating in the air?
Yeah.
Like, but if you jump,
get that all the time, dude.
Yeah, it happened. It still happens in like, or it happened to me mostly in like rank S lobbies kind of thing. Like, always in those or rank G or whatever, but never in matches. Oddly,
you can do it on purpose, or you used to be able to when you start recording a demo. Sometimes it would happen like right the round after. But I don't know if that still happens anymore.
I remember the only map where teams would abuse that on would be on Cash, because you could run over to the right up in the air and look over the boosted box mid and tell where everybody's playing on Cash.
I definitely did that shit in Pugs.
Oh yeah,
ban him. You guys heard it here.
I've done it before where it's like instead of jump spotting B, I just stand at the van and just look in. It's like I don't need to even jump spot.
You fucking cheaters!
You're just the best B Mirage holder. You're just like, yeah, B is clear.
every round. Now he's type and record in console every single fucking round.
I didn't know the record thing. I only knew that if it only happened to me when I literally would switch teams like at the half or something. It would just get glitched sometimes.
It's almost always in pistol rounds. I just remember you used to be able to do it sometimes when you typed like record. Because we used to have to record demos at the start of CSGO before like the anti-cheat. Back when it was Face It Honor system. I don't know if you guys remember that when they had their anti-cheat was like built into the server and everyone's like, yeah, it's an anti-cheat. And I was always just like, yeah, the honor system anti-cheat. Don't cheat, guys.
Yeah. No, that was brutal. And everybody still had to record their demos. And then there was like,
and you always forgot. Like,
yeah. And it was just like, and it was, at the end of every game, you have like that weird part of your brain where you're just like, I bet if we report them, some of them didn't record demos. I bet we could report them. Yeah. But then one person on your team would be like, oh fuck, I didn't record either. It's like, fuck, man, we almost had them. We almost just got to like beat Cloud9 just now. Like all we had to do was just ask them to record, to show their demos.
The funniest thing back in the day is like you'd have to take screenshots down mid. And like if you're actually cheating, you could just turn the smokes on, take your screenshot, turn the smokes off. Like,
it was you had to hold tab while looking at the smokes and have multiple people in the shot with the smoke or something like that to show that the smoke is actually covering them. Yeah.
Dude, actually had a really funny story back in 1.6. You had to do that in Cal, right? So we played a match. My friend got reported. He forgot to take screenshots of the thing. So we got 10 people to change all their names to the enemy team's things. We went back in the server and we faked the screenshots and sent them in to the guy.
200 IQ.
And it passed. The admin passed us. This was like when we were playing open and my friend didn't cheat. Like I probably sound like one of those guys that like says they don't stream snipe. My friend didn't stream snipe, but like my friend, he was pretty legit. So
that's fucking hilarious. Dude, I remember my first ever Cal match. I still remember some of the people like it was me and Stanislaw and then 3 of our friends back in the day. First ever Cal match. We all run. We didn't even know we had to do the screenshot thing. Like we had no fucking clue. It was our first ever match. We play against some random team, get 16-0'd instantly. 16-0, just got absolutely destroyed.
And then one of the players on our team, screenshots?
Dude, one of the players on one of the players on our team had to leave in the middle of the match to go take a shit, but just didn't say anything, and he just like let his little brother play. So he was just like, his little brother was just running around, and we're just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, dude, walk, bro, walk. And he just wasn't answering, wasn't saying anything. It was just a complete shit, an absolute shit show over there.
Yeah, but, I don't know if you guys remember these bugs at the start of Go. Like, I don't know, adreN, you might have remembered. Do you remember at the start of CSGO with like you could see the red dot through smoke on the radar?
Yeah.
So like online, because most people didn't play LAN at the start of CSGO because there wasn't so many, but online, you'd randomly have a red dot appear through smoke sometimes, but on land it happened 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Like literally, like if you put your crosshair, say like B spawn on or on Inferno, you could just put it at the stairs that people ran up and just wait and just look at your radar, and as soon as it turned red, you just clicked and you would kill someone through the smoke. And you know who abused the shit out of that shit? Get right. This motherfucker would just sit behind smokes, just looking at it and spam people through smokes like 100%. And
that shit was in there for a while.
Yeah, and not a lot of people like knew about it, but like those type of bugs are like, those are just type of bugs that I just feel like if you find them first, then good on you, I guess, because you can't really ban someone for that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like what do you do? Like, oh, don't shoot people when you know they're behind a smoke because our game is broken. Like,
yeah, especially because like, that one's like that's not something you can choose to do or not to do. Like, sorry, as far as shooting goes,
that's what I mean. You're not purposely exploiting something. Like, it is a bug, but like, yeah, I don't think that's like ban worthy, you know.
No, but it's like if you knew you could type something in console and that wouldn't happen, and then you chose not to do that so that it would happen. That's different. But yeah, because it's something like, this is just the game. Like I can't change the code in the game to make that not happen. So am I just supposed to never look at a smoke when I'm playing then? Just in case?
It was like when people would nade behind the smokes and the silhouette would appear. It's like, what do you do? Just not throw nades in smoke? Yeah, a lot less, but yeah, they. But it's like, what do you do?
Happens. Like, now it happens if
there's for nading smoke.
Yeah, now it happens if there's wood behind the smoke. If you shoot, if there's any wood, like the actual like wood texture on the map, if there's any wood, but like ladder room on train, if you smoke off ladder, I have an A1, let's say, and I'm playing E-box, and I just like shoot single bullets up against that wood on the back wall. If anybody walks past that smoke, I see their silhouette, you just fucking spam them. Like, it's you can still do it.
Yeah. There's a couple good spots on Overpass to do that, and
True.
The Dust 2 bricks also on B side, like that.
Yeah, like dirt
texture
works too.
Dirt
works it. Yeah,
we gotta get rid
Overpass
of
right outside Monster.
Wood and dirt.
Anything with dust. Anything that causes dust to come out.
Yeah, any natural elements.
We gotta upgrade our game to metal. Get more metal in the game.
Full metal everything.
Full Metal Alchemist.
No, true. Yeah, Nuke. Where is, like, on Nuke? Where would there even be? I'm trying to think. Dust on the ground, maybe outside. That
maybe
would be
if
about
you shoot
it.
the ground, yeah. I don't even.
Yeah, like maybe from Twinkie, if you had that outside smoke on the ground and there's a CT hiding in it, you shoot the ground around him. I'm really stretching here.
Like the big garage seems a little glitchy sometimes with smokes, but I don't know if it's caused by anything or if it's just all the textures over there.
All right, so let's move on away from this. This has been sufficiently covered, I think. So, adreN, I have a question for you, because Alex asked me this yesterday on his show, and now I'm going to ask it to you.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with Liquid right now, and why do you think they are not performing to their best? I gave my opinions yesterday on Alex's show, so I'll let you take the mantle on this one.
Well, I'd say like why they're not performing the best is kind of hard to say because they're only playing NA teams right now. So it's like for the whole entire year, you're only playing EG and FURIA, and FURIA has had Liquid's number for quite a while now. With like that's like, I don't know, like 5 BO3s to 2, maybe more than that. But I mean, they're only playing NA teams, so it's really hard to judge online as well. Online and being in the same region is really tough for any team right now, even in Europe. Like Navi versus like all the other fucking CIS teams, it's really tough. But besides like it being online and only playing NA, which is hard to judge, I think. I just think they need a dedicated opper. Like I really do. And when I was on the team, we were trying to get a dedicated opper. It never ended up happening. Towards the later end, like when I was about to go as well, obviously, like they were looking for a main opper, and I really think that's what they need. But
so, which opper do you think they should get? I'm not with. Let's not. I'm not going to pretend like this is purely hypothetical. adreN does not have any special hidden info on who they're picking up. Even if he does, we're going to pretend he doesn't. Just any player. If you right now, you're the owner of Team Liquid, you have 10 million in the. No, that's not fair.
You get ZywOo.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 million. You have 1 million, so you can't afford ZywOo
1
or
million.
Simple. Yeah, so you can't
afford $1 million for 3 years, or you mean like?
Yes. Yeah. No, $1 million for. Yeah, let's say $1 million. Fuck, man. Okay. You can't pick ZywOo or Simple, and you have.
The thing is like everyone is locked down. All the contracts are locked down.
You up, Alex.
So you can't get like I mean, I don't want to be too specific because I don't want to like say anything, but like it's really hard to even get any other North American opera, which is not even that great of an opera. But like even getting them, their contracts are locked down, and like to buy an opera from any other competing NA teams is like almost impossible.
Yeah, they won't want to sell you like their ass. Like let's make Liquid stronger. Let's sell Cirque to Liquid. It's
if you're trying to steal EG's opera, Cloud9's opera, Gen.G, like any one of those operas, like it's kind of impossible unless Liquid is literally putting out dumb money, which they're not going to do.
Like Cloud9.
Yeah.
Well, OC is on the bench. Okay, well, I'm just going through my head right now. I think Gratisfaction seems possible. OC seems possible. I guess I don't know what Junior's buyout is for Triumph, but like Cooper's available. If you wanted Whippy, I guess you could have got him, but that's super unproven. But
one name. Like it's weird because the only name you just mentioned that like has any real tier 1 experience is Grat.
Yeah,
and that he just got available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, technically.
Yeah,
but I mean, now that he has actually a free agent, right? Or no, he's under contract still.
Well, no, they're out of contract at the end of October.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he'll be a free agent in like 10 days. So it's weird because so now obviously you're not you're not with the team anymore. Yeah. If you were to pick up Gratisfaction right now, like let's say all of a sudden tomorrow you are now the general manager for Team Liquid instead of the coach, what player do you think would make the most sense to replace Gratisfaction with? And I'm not saying you want to replace them, but just what player makes the most sense tactically.
I mean, Elige you can't get rid of. He's the best player on the team, and I don't think Stewie you can get rid of right now because he just is too important for the team's tech. Like IGL wise, I think you need Stewie. Then you got Naf, which you don't really want to remove, a top 10 player in the world. And then I think you just got to remove Grim for an opera.
So again, yeah.
He's actually playing. Oh, Twist. Yeah. Sorry.
No, but that's that's what's so hard about Liquid right now is that like any of those players you remove, you're then giving another team in your region one of the best players in the world. Like no matter what, it's tough.
It's really tough because I never got to scrim or do anything with Grim, so I don't know like what he's like communication wise and like what else is he providing to the team other than his frags. But I mean, I think he's like the second best on the team right now statistic wise. Like he's actually like it seems like he's playing insane. I haven't been watching too many of their matches, but I mean it's just hard for me to remove anyone else other than Grim if you're putting in an opera. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one because, like you said, also they haven't even got to play LANs yet.
Right? Yeah,
they literally haven't even got to play a LAN yet. And also, do you think so? From working with the team, do you think at any point like Naf could just become a full-time opper or Twists even? Because Twists I know used to do a lot of opping back in the day, but I haven't seen him do it much on this Liquid lineup. But I think that's mostly because you have Nitro, Stewie, Naf. Like there's not much room for Twists to pick up that op, right? Do you think either one of them could transition to be the full-time primary?
I don't think it would be worth it, honestly. I think you at this point you just got to pick up an opper that's been opping for years at the highest level. Like if you're a team like Team Liquid, like you're already the best in the world, like you need to pick up like one of the best operas in the world. But
yeah, no, it's not easy though. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy. But
you got Simple and Ziwu out there, and
I think they should just put the money and bought Tim. Honestly, like I think that would have been their best bet. Like
I'll just say they tried grabbing a lot of operas from NA, and none of them came to fruition.
Well, Mo just said he's better than Tim.
I did see that.
That's someone to consider for the future. A lot of value there.
Because I also think like the opera that Liquid gets needs to be the opera that can opt for Liquid, because Liquid doesn't really play like hyper aggressive, and almost all operas that go to Liquid that like to be aggressive don't do well. So you kind of need someone that's like methodical and smart, like more like a device type of opera than like a Cirque. Like Cirque is fucking insane, but I don't know if it would like work out on the team even, because they like I feel like Liquid is that team they play so like low risk, and like Cirque is not a low risk opera. Like
there'd be a little bit of personality clashes there too. I think they've got very different personality types. I think if you brought Cirque into that team, it would be not that it wouldn't. I don't think necessarily it wouldn't work out, but it would be strange. Like it would be weird sort of personality clashes there, I think.
Well, it's like, let's do banana control, fall back, search like down mid and ult, AWPing a dude. Like, just, you know. Like,
I don't think that would be bad
no-scope.
for Liquid, though. I
don't think it would be bad
They
either.
need some of that spice sometimes.
Yeah,
I agree, but
right now it just feels like Stewie has to do that a lot in early rounds if they want to spice things up. I think Alish kind of takes his own, like, has a lot of agency himself too, but
yeah.
It'd be nice if they could
himself.
do an opper. Yeah. It'd be nice if there was an opper that just kind of did it for them. Because it's just safer with that gun, of course.
But I also think with Liquid is like, honestly, I've been saying this even before, like when they had Nitro. Someone, if they don't get an opper, someone just has to man up and op, like be the opper. None of this like, hey, I'll op on this side of this map, I'll op on this side of this map, and then like, you know, I'll op on Mirage. Like they switch the roll up like a lot, and I think that like ends up fucking them. Like just have Naf second op because I think he's really good at that, and like he's a really good like second sight player or like the small sight rotator. And then just have someone else man up. Fucking have a leash do it, dude.
See, I'm like,
V2.
Hell no.
I feel like I'm in like, I feel like I have the most like I feel like I'm one of the only people out there that actually likes that they rotated their op depending on who was like. I love the fact that you never knew which person was going to be opping at any time on any map at any whatever. I thought that was such a unique stylistic thing that only Liquid had, and they were still the best team in the world while doing that.
You know
and
what team tried that and died?
What team tried that?
Virtus Pro. That was their downfall. That was their downfall.
Yeah, that was their downfall.
It can last for so long.
I thought you were gonna say Optic with like Russian NAF.
They started swapping the op and it got in their heads.
Switching there. Yeah.
But no, man,
just like a comfort factor. Like we were putting ops where people just felt comfortable. Like, hey, like who's comfortable opping car? Okay, Keith, you're gonna do it. And then after a while, we're like, all right, we need to switch up A. A's not working out. Jake, you're gonna op A. You know what I mean? It was just all about who was like the most comfortable opping. I don't think anyone like I don't know if like NAF full-time opping every map works out. I just don't think none of the players like making someone a dedicated opper in that roster didn't like really make sense to just like the play styles of the riflers.
Yeah, no, I agree, which is why I thought it was so cool that it was one of the only teams in the world that could just constantly rotate around their oppers, different roles, different halves, different like whatever it was, and then still be the best team in the world. Like I thought that was so unique, and it added like an element to the team that was like, because like you said, they don't have that like crazy aggressive like really playmakey style. So to be able to have that sort of X factor in a different way, like the X factor in a different way, was you didn't know where the op was going to be and who was going to have it.
I think when you guys were on your Grand Slam run, I feel like Nitro op like 90% of the time during that. And the thing with like in theory, it's nice to not know what kind of op is you're gonna see in a round to round basis is nice until I watch a match and Stewie whiffs 3 op shots in the same round because this is his first round with the op of like the last 8. So he just wasn't comfortable with the gun in that moment. Like I literally think that happened at like IEM maybe like shit, like all these tournaments are blending, but like I saw that in like a 14-14 circumstance where it's like, okay, he decided to pick up the op this round, but then he whiffed 3 times on shots that weren't really that hard, and it's like if he just was comfortable with it because he was a primary, that wouldn't have happened. They would have won that round, won that match. So
yeah, I just think like right now the op just seems like it's I don't know if the meta is switched or not, or the oppers right now are insane, but like I feel like you just need a really fucking sick opper. And Liquid's missing it. Like every other team, like their opper is carrying them so hard, and Liquid's opper, whoever it may be, is not.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Art Wing through 3 smokes of op. No one to punish him.
The thing is that they
Furia's got 2, bro. They got
exactly
and zoning, like.
Exactly.
Dude, imagine if Liquid could get Henny, just pry Henny away from Furia. He doesn't speak English, but that would be perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
0% chance.
I'm gonna give it a 1%, Corey. I'm gonna give it a 1%er, okay?
I guess enough money in.
Yeah. That would be fucking crazy though.
I want to see Furia on LAN again. I feel like it's just been so long, and I know they're gonna play the same style, but I just want to see it on LAN again.
Well, the same thing what happened last time. It just doesn't work as well on LAN. It's still like they're still a good team. They're still a top 10 team in the world. They're still a good team, but it doesn't work as well because just obviously the game is just totally different on LAN. It's hard to explain to people. I've said this like 1,000 times, but so I don't want to repeat myself too much. But it's just a completely different game on LAN for a multitude of factors. So. one of them being that the game itself is like actually different. Like on CT side, you can just hold angles, so that changes everything when you're playing against a team like FURIA who's running at you.
I feel like the M4s are so much more powerful on LAN.
They are. And
I feel like now FURIA is just like, I don't know, compared to the last time they were on LAN, I feel like they just have much more experience. They've been together longer, so like, I don't know, they could be insane on LAN again, but I don't know. I just want to see it. You know,
same. I just want to see LANs again in general.
I think they'll surprise, even though everyone in Europe has been watching FURIA, I feel like they will surprise people. Like the first LAN, I think FURIA could just straight up win it because like at ECS Season 7 last year, like they beat Astralis, you know, and it was that was at LAN. So I mean, it might not last forever because people will get used to it, but then that first tournament back, everyone it's like when a Russian team plays in, you know, the major. It's just like, wait, what the hell are they doing? And no one's really ready for it, even though they kind of know what's going on.
That's actually exciting because like right now they're only really getting countered by NA teams hard right now, or trying to. Like they're still winning everything, but like I want to see like what the European teams are gonna do to try to beat them. But yeah, like the first event, it's like when they first came out. I think the first time we played them was like DreamHack Dallas last year, and like they were insane, and no one knew how to counter them yet. Because like their playstyle was so unique and stuff. But yeah, I want to see what the European teams come up with.
Yeah, I remember playing against them in scrims when they were like still in advanced team, and we're playing against them in scrims, and they're just like, it's like, dude, nobody plays like that. Like, what is this? Like, no, like literally just have no clue what to do. And then people are asking us like I remember because Corey, you were on the team with. Oh no, maybe it was Space Station. Or no, did we play against them on Splice when they were in NA yet?
Yeah, we played with them a couple times.
Yeah, and we scrimmed against them. They were literally an advanced team, and we're like, oh no way, we're scrimming an advanced team. Our coach is just like, no, we're playing this advanced team. You'll see. And then they just absolutely shit on us, and it's just like, dude, what the? I remember literally playing against them on Nuke too, and it's like anytime like there's like a fight outside, there's one guy rushing through ramp, Squeaky's getting blown open, there's an opper pushing through hut. It's just like, dude, what is going on right now? This is pure insanity.
They refine their game a lot from advanced. True. Like I remember we used to scrim them on Inferno, and like, dude, they would just randomly out of the blue just wide swing top mid on Inferno with like M4s and just fight you, and you're like, I guess, but like if I have my gun, I'll die. I don't feel like they do quite as dumb things. So there's like a plan behind like a lot of the aggression now. Like Art usually has a smoke, or like some every once in a while you'll see him do something where it's just like you just decided to just go. But
I'd love to see what their practice is like how they like set up the practice. Like, hey, I'm gonna do this crazy shit here. When I do this crazy shit, you're gonna do this crazy shit. Like, I wonder how much is actually talked about, or if it's just like chemistry they've gotten from playing so much together, like in scrims and shit, or like how I want to know how much is actually talked about and planned chaos.
It's true because like if you watch them on Nuke, you'll see them like blow up the Squeaky, and they'll do that boost in the like, you know, in the corner. They love that boost. And then while they're doing that, Yuri's just walking outside. Like he's just walking in the yard because so many people are like needed to because they're all shit. The vent's broken.
Watch out for the boost. Everyone's like spamming, like fucking throwing every nade. That's what we were doing. Exactly. Like just fucking throw nades, spam it. Don't let them come out.
And then Yuri's just walking outside for free. Like, what's up, guys?
Yep.
If Yuri or anyone on FURIA could do the ROPS play, like the KZ to get in a mini fast or whatever, that would just supplement that so perfectly. That would just be such a good pairing.
That's actually not that hard, by the way. Once you learn how to do it, it's like super easy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The first time you do it, no, it's actually it seems hard, but once you do it, you're like, oh, this is actually not that hard.
It's a little surfing.
All right, so now let's talk about the big move, or I think this is the big move of the year. I think this is potentially it's definitely signing of the year, I think. JKS going to Complexity now. So 100 Thieves has disbanded. They're gone. They've left CS. Nade Shot streaming his Call of Duty, not watching the finals.
Oh my god.
Then JKS has also on a side note, Apex signed Jacob. That's fine, whatever. But JKS has gone to Complexity. JKS though, Complexity though, that is fucking massive. Now I remember way back in the past years ago, everyone wanted to sign JKS. All the NA orgs wanted him, European orgs for years. People have been trying to sign this guy, and he's always just been like, "Nah, mate, I'm good."
No, mate.
You know, nah, mate, I'm good. And he wanted to play with his Australian, but he wanted to stay with that lineup, that core. He didn't want to leave. He liked it. He was comfortable. He thought the team was good. And to be fair, they did win events. You know, they won tier 1 events. They won IEM Shanghai. They won Star Series. You know, they won big events. They were always a tier 1 team. But now Now he's gone. He's gone to Complexity. Alex, thoughts?
It's one of the best fits you could ask for, I'd say. I think Obo is just a little bit more bitchy in his roles, like slightly worse roles, but for the most part, I think it matches up really well. And JKS is just a more experienced Obo, whereas Obo is just like sometimes he's lining up a nade mid-round or something like that. You know, just like he has little hesitations in his game, whereas JKS is just this free-flowing machine beast of a player.
adreN.
So it's excellent. Yeah.
I mean, JKS is like, he's an insane pickup. Like, honestly, like I think Liquid wanted him, but like I don't think it ever got to the point where like they tried contacting because they were looking for an offer. But like I don't know, JKS is like, he's definitely 100 Thieves' best player. Insane pickup. Yeah.
Corey, what do you think about this move?
I kind of agree with like the role thing, like Maui was saying, like with Obo being more like willing to do the bitchy roles, because I think that's the only issue they're going to run into is like if they're like, yo, JKS, you got to do like some of these things that Obo did. It's just like how we play. And he's just thinking to himself like, man, I don't want to fucking do this. I want to be like the star, or like I want to be more of a like in the action or fragging, because they already have Config, Blaine F, and Poison as like the stars, and Rush is doing some of the like the entry work, playing some like the shittier spots like long on Dust 2 and stuff. So JKS is kind of getting thrown in the second supporty role, but it can still work really well. Like it just depends on the attitude, I guess.
Dude,
So,
I actually
he
just
does
think
do a lot of lurking though.
Yeah, I was about to say
He is an edge guy
on both
but also
sides.
a star.
I can't even believe how hard this is just gonna like. He just fits perfectly. Like look at their I'm looking at their team right now. Right, they have Blame F, Config, Poison, Rush. Rush is like your classic like support rifler. He'll do any role. He knows his nades well. He's perfect at following up on spacing. Perfect, great. Config, your entry fragger. Blame F, IGL, Poison, your star opper. And you have JKS, lurker on the side of the map. Such a smart player, lurker on the side of the map, can make secondary calls, just absolutely perfect. And then on CT sides, he's your side anchor. It's like the most perfect. This Complexity team is legitimately going to be contending for like they're going to be a top 5 team. They're going to be a top 5 team.
Yeah, Blame F is insane. Like his work ethic, like he's fucking insane. He's hardworking. They're going to be insane, especially with JKS. But yeah, like he reminds me of like Keith a little bit in AF, like where like he's a lurking star player.
Yeah. Blame F in late round situations. Like I think that's like probably the only thing is that T side. I think Blame F and JKS sometimes do similar stuff on team, like lurk, extremity, late round player. But I don't mind either of them in a late round situation, especially if they're together, because the way Blame F breaks down late round situations, like every nade that comes out of his hand just had so much thought behind it, and it just felt like he just waited for that perfect moment to throw it. Like I never see Blame F, maybe an HE grenade time to time, but I never see him in a late round situation waste a nade. It's just always like, holy shit, that accomplished something actually that just gave you the hugest advantage. So it's gonna be sick to see them in late round clutches.
No, they got really good nade usage. But anyone watching that's playing a pug, throw all your nades in the first 4 seconds of the round, so you don't have to worry about them. Just gun it.
Facts, dude.
Just don't
know when
flash
people are
me,
gonna
please.
peek you.
Yeah. So I don't need any of my pug teammates to buy double flash. Just buy it in HE.
They're more likely to blind you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Why didn't the core of 100 Thieves stay together though? Like the Aussies, at least.
Honestly, I don't. For them, I think if you're 100 Thieves, right? You lose JKS, you lose Jacob. If you're the org, why do you even want to retain that core?
No, the org. Okay, the org drop them, but like the players, like. Why do they not want to stay together? Grat, Liaz, Azur. Maybe Jacob wants to go home, but then
I don't know. For those 3, maybe they actually just felt like it was doomed without JKS and Jacob.
Unless you have insider knowledge, there's no word on that yet. But I know that's.
I'll say some of them have offers from other teams.
Yeah, I know that's not the case. I know that's not the case. Yeah.
I saw Grat was like looking for a team in CS or Valorant.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to know for sure. Like they might be staying together, they might not be. Maybe they have org offers. Maybe they're all going to split up. It's hard to know, but like I think that especially from 100 Thieves point of view, because people are like flaming 100 Thieves. It's like if the contracts are up at the end of October and JKS wants to leave to go to Complexity and Jacob wants to go home and you're 100 Thieves, you're looking at that. All right, well, there's our 2 best players. So fuck it. Like, we're not going to re-sign. Like, there's no point in re-signing these 3 and then building a team. Like, who are we going to buy? Like you said, contracts are fucking locked down. Like, who are we actually going to buy that's going to keep this team as a top team? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. It was fucking doomed. Yeah. So anyways, it was fucking doomed for 100 Thieves pretty much. Just they didn't stand much of a chance on that one.
What was really the catalyst for this? Like, it felt like all of a sudden it was just like Chet leaves, now JKS is gone, and is this like before the 100 Thieves started pulling out, or did 100 Thieves just see what was happening and be like, yeah.
I don't have insider info on this, but I have a feeling because Daps and Sam were going to Valorant and Chet's just like friends with them, I think he just also wanted to go to Valorant. I'm just guessing.
What I thought too.
I
almost felt like that was a catalyst, but like then it's like, why couldn't they just get another?
I don't think so.
They could just get a adreN or something.
I think they knew the whole time that their contracts were running out at the end of October, and I think JKS had probably been in contact with Complexity by that point already. Again, just guessing.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Because he's like, hey, my contract's up in 3 months, like, and I'm sure maybe Complexity reached out to him, and we're just like, maybe they reached out to 100 Thieves, and they were just like, hey, we're interested in buying your player, blah blah blah. Can we talk to him? And then based on the laws, by the way, how the laws work, if you have 6 months left on your contract before your contract is about to expire, you're free to talk to other orgs without your org's permission. So as long as there's 6 months left on your contract before it expires, you're free to just like talk to somebody else about signing a future contract at the expiry of your current one. So there would actually be nothing 100 Thieves could do about it. He could have signed a contract with Complexity 3 months ago, and it's just post dated to start when this current one ends, is how it works. So this could have, like, they could have known that JKS was leaving months ago and just kept it on the low.
I see.
Not saying they did do that. I'm just saying
I feel like
could have been the case.
As soon as Obo dipped, I feel like those talks probably started.
Yes,
right then.
Yes.
And then
I think all the people that left for Valorant had been planning to do that for a while.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the CS people, but I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't have any like direct confirmation, but I'm like 99% sure from everything I've heard that like the Valorant people had been thinking about switching like beforehand, but it was never set in stone. It wasn't like they were 100% going to, but that was always in their mind of like switching. I don't know. I guess if you're like bored of CS or you want to try something new, but I don't know. Like, what do you guys feel about Valorant? Because like for me, this is my number one asked question when I stream is like, what are your thoughts on Valorant? Like, everyone wants to know, and I think it's a fun game, right? I think it's fun. I don't like it more than Counterstrike. If I want to play a game like Counterstrike, I'll play Counterstrike. If I want to play an abilities game, I'll play Overwatch. That doesn't mean I'm talking shit about Valorant at all. That's just me personally. Like, ability games, I think Overwatch is a better ability game. But for shooting, Counterstrike is just going to take the cake for me. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, when I played it, I played it in beta. I was part of the like original like pro 10-man scrims in Valorant and shit, and I played in some, and it was just like, this is just not that good. Like it's, I understand why it's fun to play. I get why casuals like it. For me, it's very slow. The abilities are too strong, but like everything about it, it's slow and it's boring to me. It's not that it's a bad game. I can see why people like it, but to me personally, it's slow and it's boring. I just don't have fun playing it for any extended amount of time.
Like what you say was slow and the abilities being too strong is kind of how I feel. Is like I thought Valorant when it came out was going to be like Counter-Strike, kind of like FPS type of shooting, like with all the guns and recoil and everything, but with like slight abilities. So just like slight advantages,
like abilities that are like utility, like the jet dash. It's utility, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want something that all of a sudden it goes open up the sky and then just an entire fucking thing, and anybody inside of it just explodes. It's like, what the fuck is this, man? Like that person could have sat in their fucking spawn the entire game, not moved, waited for the bomb to start getting planted on a site, pressed a button and got 2 kills. It's like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, what is this shit?
You're gonna have people that come out and they're gonna be like, dude, you can avoid that if you do X, Y, or Z.
I know.
You could like the counterplay.
It's like, yes, I know, and that's why I find the game boring. Like, that is why I don't want to play it right there. Like, I understand there's like, oh, all you have to do is fake the plant and then jump away and wait for him to press the button and then wait 5 seconds.
It's why Overwatch is kind of boring to play, because it's just ult saving. You farm your ults, they farm their ults. When they use their ults, you counter their ults with your ults. It's like, cool. Like
the economy for like pro Overwatch games is ult economy. It's like how many ults can you use to not like to win the fight, but you don't want to use too many because then you're going to lose the next fight, and that might steamroll the other direction. But for Valorant, so I worked the Pop Flash event, and so I saw like all the stuff up close and was like really getting invested in that tournament. And I watched the other Ignition series stuff too. And I think what's interesting about it right now is like the wealth of strategies that are just kind of emerging, and there's just so many different. So like Gen G, for example, has this style like with Guimond on it, they played this like really exec heavy style that was like, oh my god, the way they used the wall with the smokes, and like they had this specific flash, and like it looked really good when it comes together in the macro sense. But I feel like what, for me at least, holds Valorant back is kind of like the gunplay of CS, and the mechanics, like the movement mechanics and the gun mechanics feel better in CS, in that every time you peek an angle in CS, there's kind of this rock, paper, scissors. It's like, if they're holding with an op and you jiggle peek them, you can win that by jiggling them, baiting out a shot, and then wide swinging. In Valorant, like, you move so slowly, you don't, like, the jiggles are kind of shitty, and you can always wall someone, so jiggling kind of sucks, because if you just spam the wall that they just jiggled behind, they're dead. So it feels.
I actually like that aspect of it better. The fact
Oh,
that
really?
that if anybody comes to try to peek you around a corner, that's what 1.6 was like too.
Yeah.
Like if you try to jiggle somebody, they just spam you and you just die. Like it's like, nah, bitch, nah. Like none of this shit. None of this fucking shit.
The good old days.
Yeah. I feel like what makes Counterstrike exciting is the outplay with pure mechanics on like any given moment. Like
agreed.
That, like jiggling, crouch swinging, like wide swinging, just perfectly, like shoulder peeking, like all those don't feel as relevant in Overwatch, or not Overwatch, Valorant.
Dude, and I remember when I was watching those, like some of those like Valorant tournaments that just it seems like all the orgs are just hosting tournaments or whatever the fuck. Like it's like, Renegades 10K Invitational,
yeah,
T1 10K
it's
Invitational
hot stuff, dude.
I know it, but it happens every fucking weekend, and then teams like treat it like they've actually like whatever. Anyways, don't care. But I remember how many times I tried watching one of those one time, because I actually like. I wanted to like it. I tried. Like I wanted to like the game. Even when I didn't have that much fun playing it, I wanted to like watching it. I tried watching, and the amount of rounds in a fucking row were just like, okay, and yep, now there's 20 seconds left. Nobody's dead. Oh yeah, here comes the 5 smokes on the site. We're gonna run and plant. Oh, now it's a 5v5 post plant. That happened like so fucking frequently, to the point where I was like, I can't do this. I can't. There hasn't been a kill. There's a minute into a round, 5 rounds in a row now. Nobody's died. I can't do this. This is too much for me.
It's like the one thing that I always think that Counter-Strike has on versus every game, like League of Legends, Dota, Overwatch, Valorant, whatever game you want to say, potentially excluding like Quake, is that you could buy a Deagle and win a round versus anyone at any point in the time. Like you're never truly out of the game in Counter-Strike. Like no matter how bad you're losing, how bad your economy is, like, yeah, you're probably not going to get an ace with the Glock, but like you could buy a Deagle, no armor, and get 5-1 Deags. Like it's possible. Whereas like if you're far behind in Dota, you've lost. If you're too far behind in Overwatch, you probably lost. Like you just can't come back. Like
I feel like Valorant has that, but less than CS.
Yeah, it's closer for sure.
Right, yeah.
With Valorant, it's kind of like there's tricks and there's little like gimmicky set plays that people have with abilities that are like drop a smoke here, flash out the smoke, and then everyone pop through the smoke with the jet dash and like a shorty or something like that. Like it's more gimmicky and more set feeling, so it doesn't feel like it's like, okay, they ran that little play that they ran to a tournament ago. Like, okay, we saw it again, but it's always just so gratifying in CS. It's like, that dude just 1D'd 3 people. Like that was just fucking sick. Like I can't. There's nothing that beats that, honestly.
Like that Ziwu Deagle ace that happened like 2 days ago on
exactly.
Mirage. Just like, oh, that's just so fucking
so clean. It's so sick.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
You can't. That only happens in Counter. It's too beautiful. That was just too ridiculous. adreN, what do you think? I know you've been playing quite a bit of Valorant.
I mean, I think just the biggest thing for it is it's just new and exciting, and the Zoomers love the abilities. You know what I mean? Like it's just Counter-Strike with just extra shit. It's just Counter-Strike with extra shit. I mean, I like it. I think it's a good game, and I think Riot is doing a good job with it, with like being like having good updates and being a very good communication, which Valve does not do.
That's
and
true.
CS is pretty stale, so everyone's just everyone's going to Valorant, at least in NA.
Could you see yourself competing in it or coaching in it?
Maybe. I do think it's a lot of fun. I don't know. I'm not like that like sucked into it. I still like Counter-Strike more for sure, but the more I play it, the more I like understand the game more. So it's like pulls you in slowly. I think
as strategy develops too, and teams start to diversify their play styles, it gets more fun to watch. Like when like the group stage of that Pop Flash tournament was kind of like, like okay, I think some of you guys are whatever. But then when it got to the finals and the semifinals, I knew what Cloud9's game plan was, and I knew what Sentinels was doing that was so good, and Gen G and all these teams, and it's like then you start to see the differences, and I think the differences in playstyle in Valorant are so much more divergent than in CS, whereas CS, like, we've got like defaults and execs or set plays, I guess. They're like little pocket strats sometimes, but like in Valorant, it's so drastically different just based off of the agent comp that they decide to come into a game with.
Yeah, I think there's different levels. Like you said, I feel like in Counterstrike, obviously you don't have the agents or whatever, but like the differences come in the micro instead of in the macro in Counterstrike, where, like you said, each individual gunfight is like so unique in its own way, and so, like, you know, in so many different ways. Like if you're going up banana on Inferno, you can go up banana on Inferno every single round and have a different gunfight every single time, like completely different, right? Where and then that's happening all over the map every round for the entire round. It's like every single gunfight is so unique depending on how you peek it, depending on where the other person's standing, depending on what nades you just threw or what nades they just threw. Whereas I think that in Valorant, like you said, there's not quite that micro depth when it comes to the actual mechanics yet. Like the actual, like the mechanics of the gunfighting and like the actual play itself, there's not nearly as much depth in the actual like physics of the game.
Yeah, I think Counter-Strike does that better, like gun-wise and movement-wise.
Yeah. Like the actual mechanics are just a little different. Yeah. It's different because, like you said, in Valorant, there's the mechanics of the fact of there's abilities that counter abilities, there's comps that counter comp. Like it's more of like the macro things that you have to work on more. Whereas in Counter-Strike, I think the diversity comes in the little things, the small mechanics between players.
Yeah. Just
is this going to lead us into the topic where we talk about is NACS dying?
Yeah, it's about where we're going. Yeah, that's about that was the progression.
But I mean, just to give my opinion on it. I mean, if you look at the stats of like how many people are playing CS, it's still more today than it was in 2019. In October 2019, there's more people playing Counter-Strike today. So the game is, I mean, surely like 6 months ago it hit like its biggest peak. But there's still so many people playing Counter-Strike, and it's more alive than it was last year. It's just like, how many of those numbers are actually NA players from Counter-Strike is the big question. And obviously, like in the top tier of NA, like everything is slowly dwindling away from NA and CS. Like orgs, for example, Cloud9 is now European, 100 Thieves is now dead, Complexity is now European. What other orgs have gone to either EU or have not?
Well, EG and Liquid are both heading over to EU, but
or which
one? Cloud9. He's Cloud9 and Complexity.
Cloud9 went EU, Complexity went EU. Yeah. 100 Thieves dead. So like no one wants to invest into CS for NA, and if they are an NA org, they're going to Europe. So it's kind of tough. And then you have the players actually leaving, like the players right under tier 1, like Shazam, Sick, Wardell, Steel, Nitro. Like there's just so many players that are right below, like Nitro for example, tier 1. I know. I had to go back on that one. I was just thinking off the top of my head, like who's left. But like all those players are so important to like the MDL scene, or like building talent, like Steel and like FNS and Hayes and all those guys. Like there's so many Counter-Strike players that have gone over that are like right below and are so important for like the building blocks of CS. It's pretty tough. So like you're losing players and orgs. I don't know. For NA is definitely like struggling for CS.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like this reminds me a lot of CGS in 1.6, where like our scene got ripped to shreds. Like, because I played back then in 1.6, and like, you know, you lost like Fraud, Storm, all those guys. You know, and then this all the top teams were kind of gone to CGS. Mm-hmm. So then you had people like Nothing come up. So I think we'll be okay, because there's a lot of people that are still going to come up. It'll take a while to heal. You know, like you'll need the tier 3 or the tier 2.5 players to kind of like either get smarter, because I don't personally think mechanics are a huge issue in NA. I think a lot of people have a lot of skill, but their brains are just behind their skill. Partly because of the culture that we have in pugs and stuff and FPL and whatever. But like I always like, I don't know if you guys agree, but I always look at like the Danish scene as like the best for like developing talent. Is like they all seem to be pretty good mechanically. They're not producing 10 simples a year, but like the fundamentals and how those players play are amazing. Like the Danish players, like they understand teamwork. Like they understand the value of their life and everything. And in NA, man, like some of these guys, like they just don't care if they die. Like they don't care. And I think once people get smarter and some more IGLs especially come out, because I feel like that's a big missing factor in NAs. There's not a lot of good callers. Like even the callers in the tier 1 CS, there's not a lot. You know, like who is there? Like Kusta's calling for Gen G now. Stewie's calling for Liquid. Like you know, it's just these. Like I'm not saying Stew is a bad caller, but he wasn't always a caller. You know, like he's not a Kerrigan. He's not a Zeus or whatever. You know, he's not a caller that's always called. So
it's time to make your comeback, adreN. It's time. You've been primed.
No.
You've been primed.
I'm too
Mythic,
old,
reborn.
So I guess basically what I'm saying is I think we'll be fine, but I think it's just going to take a while for everything to go back to normal, because some of the players that don't make it in Valorant will come back. Like, you know, they will. Some are going to get cut. Some are not going to make it. Some are just going to hate the game or not make as much money as they thought, and they will come back. Like, we know that. It might take a year, but they'll come back.
Or I also want to point out, you know, Valorant right now is big in NA because there's a big viewer base in NA right now. That will dwindle with time. The viewership is going to go down. The player base is going to go down. And Valorant isn't popping off anywhere else in the world right now besides North America. Like, Valorant is not popping off in Asia. It's not popping off in Europe. The only place right now where Valorant is like popping off and doing well is North America. And North Americans, you know, the young viewer base and player base that is Valorant right now, that they will, when a new game comes out, you're going to lose people again and people again and people again. And Valorant, unless they do something where it starts popping off in Asia and Europe, counting on the North American player base to carry your game is a risky move. It's a risky move because historically it doesn't work. North Americans are, I don't know what the right word is. I was going to say fickle, but I don't think that's necessarily the right word. They jump around a lot. You can never count on the North American player base for extended periods of time. You have to have that worldwide presence. And it's early. It's still super early for Valorant. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, if you look at the numbers from across Asia and Europe, Valorant is nowhere near as popular over there as it is in North America.
Just to give some stats, actually, I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
On Twitch for the last 30 days, Valorant has 33 million hours watched, and Counterstrike has 51 million hours watched. Yeah. So even on Twitch, Counterstrike is still like killing it over Valorant, even with all the hype that's going on. And yeah, I don't think CS is obviously never going to die. NACS is obviously never going to die. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see like how Valorant does, because even the tournaments, the tournaments aren't having like large viewers.
No.
Right?
Even like some like a DreamHack event. I was just looking right now. This is a little bit, it's kind of tough because the only game going on right now is 2 Brazilian teams. So you're going to get a little, but even that has 25,000 viewers, and it's just Sharks versus Daytona. Not even like the two, like, not even the two best.
Not even Boom.
Those are loyal.
Yeah, no, they are. But which is why it turned into a kind of a weird example, because Brazilians are always going to get tons of viewers no matter what. But we're saying like 25,000 viewers watching like the 5th and 6th best Brazilian teams play right now. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, and that Nerd Street Gamer event that was going on this past week, I tuned in, and I think there was only like 3K, 4K watching.
Dude, like the thing with a game like Valorant is when most of your player base is casual, most people aren't going to watch the competitive games that are playing, right? Whereas with Counterstrike, a large portion of our viewer base doesn't even actually play. It's like a weird opposite effect. Whereas with Valorant, most of the player base won't watch. In Counterstrike, most of the viewer base doesn't play. Like there's so many people who watch Counterstrike that no longer play Counterstrike, but they just watch it because they love watching it.
A good example is WoW, actually. Like WoW's always had a giant player base, but they don't kill it on Twitch. Like even if they host like a top 3v3 or tournament or like raids, like every time a new content's hit, like they'll max out for a day or two, but for the most part, like for how much people actually play the game, like not a lot of people watch WoW, right?
It's true.
I think Thorin and Monty have mentioned that about League of Legends, that for the actual player base, it's like by far the most played game in the world, but percentage-wise, it's actually not that high. Like compared to Counter-Strike, like Counter-Strike's viewer numbers versus its player base is one of the best in esports, because people just enjoy it. It's kind of like a crossover thing where people from other games watch Counter-Strike games. But Valorant, it does feel like in the beginning of it, a lot of people were tuning in because they're interested in it, but unless like the player base somehow just manages to get way bigger, it doesn't seem like the viewer base has any reason to get that much bigger. Maybe when they franchise it, which I think Riot's kind of heading towards, that's possible, but it'll be like World Championship kind of stuff.
Well,
Like,
the other thing is
that's
with
when the
Counterstrike, right? If you're a silver player in Counterstrike and you're watching, let's say, Astralis versus Liquid in a major final, right? You can watch that, and you can watch it, and you know what's going on, and you're hype as fuck when Stewie hits those 3 op shots, and you go to overtime against FaZe in the major final, right? Anybody watching that, it's like, holy shit, that's hype as fuck. And when you're watching the game, anybody can understand it. It's hype as fuck.
I completely agree with you on that, but like the weird thing is that so many people watch League and Dota, and that shit's fucking for me. Like, what's going on?
It is confusing if you
if you don't.
But I completely agree with you. It's so digestible
which
for
is
like
what
older people or like people that.
My mom understands Counterstrike. She can watch Counterstrike.
My mom does too. Which is why, like, if I tried to get my mom to sit down and watch Valorant, she'd be like, "What is going on?"
Magic.
You know what I mean?
There's magic on the screen.
No, actually, like the amount of time it would take somebody like my mom to like understand, like to try to explain to her what's happening in Valorant and why no, this champion is actually different than this one, like, or this hero. I don't know what they call them in Valorant, but agents. This agent is different than this agent because this agent can jump around and fly up in the air, and this agent just like drops a nuke from the sky, and this agent has a camera, and this one has a robot that rolls around. You know what I mean? Like, like that would just get lost, and she'd be like, "Nah, I'm out. I'm done."
Once you have to start explaining nuances between agents, that's when you lose a lot of the casual audience, because it's like in CS it's just like, oh, he threw a grenade, yes, everybody gets grenade, but then it's like, oh, he threw a grenade, why doesn't he just grenade back? It's like, well, he doesn't have a grenade, grandma, he has a smoke that he can put, like, he has to open his PDA to actually use it. It's like,
exactly.
Oh, that's nice, Alex, good job with your Valorant.
Which is why long term I think Valorant viewership wise is going to struggle, because at least right now they don't have the player base. Because if you're going to be a game like that, or like League of Legends, or like Dota, or like Overwatch, you have to have such a large player base of people that play the game consistently, because you're only going to get a small portion of them that watch the competitive scene consistently. So if you don't have that large player base to begin with, you're not going to pull casual viewers. You're not going to pull viewers from other games that don't play the game and watch it, because they're not going to understand what's happening. So you have to have such a large player base to make up for the fact that your game is not designed for casual viewing. So because the game isn't designed, I don't think they will. That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be tough. I think Valorant, I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go sort of down the Overwatch route, where it's gonna pop off a little bit early. But the thing is with Overwatch was popular as fucking Asia, and Valorant isn't. So Overwatch is still more popular in Asia than Valorant. More people still play Overwatch than Valorant over in Asia. So honestly, I think it's gonna struggle. I think it's gonna crash and burn. I think North America hopped on super early, and so they're sort of like propping up the scene themselves. Yeah, exactly. They're propping up the scene themselves. Like the NA orgs are almost creating the scene right now.
I've heard also I've heard a few podcasts and things like that talk about the salary numbers, but then I've heard from the players what the salaries actually are, and are like other podcasters in the scene just lying about the numbers? Because like
I don't know.
I have not heard from any players these like 20 to 30K numbers. Like there's no way. That doesn't happen, and yet I hear every other podcast, other like analysts on desks are saying it. And I'm just like, that's not. No one's making that.
I've seen two Valorant teams contracts, tier 1 orgs, by the way. I'm trying not to give anything away, but I've seen 2 Valorant teams contracts and their salaries. It is less than a tier 2 pro Counterstrike team.
Yeah, salary. Like, can we get that out? Can we just get that out here? But
I don't know how much
But I do think if you're like Nitro and you leave CS, you're gonna get more money in Valorant.
Yes.
You're gonna get more of a salary than like a tier 2 player from CS leaving, right? Because he's got a brand.
I still think Nitro's Liquid salary was probably higher than his 100 Thief salary, though.
I would probably assume.
I would assume so for that. But for the numbers that I know that are of top teams, like top 5 teams in NA, I know they are not making these ridiculous sums that like every other show is saying that they are. That's not happening.
If any team is signing players for over like 10K right now in Valorant, I feel like it's.
Dude, I feel like over 5K, you're almost fucking up. Like, imagine paying a whole team 5K a month. Like, for what?
And all these rosters are gonna get gutted. Like,
exactly.
Every roster is gonna get gutted. Like, this player shit. Actually, throw him to the bench. Like,
new players are coming up in that game, right? So you got to give them some time that have never played any of these games, and they will become good at some point. But we had some miscommunication. I have to leave soon, so I'm just gonna ask
no
adreN
worries,
like
Corey.
2 questions before I go. This is what a lot of people want to hear. Usually, this is like a pretty prominent question. So you're a coach for the best team in the world at one point. What do you think makes a good player, and what do you think players should be doing to become a top player, like to be on a tier 2-1 team in the future? Because I think a lot of people don't know what to do. They don't know, should I play more Face-It games? Should I play more deathmatch? Should I, like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know the best route to go.
I think Elige is like a person to look at and for someone to follow that's up and coming, because he is super hardworking and he watches a ton of demos, and he always watches his demos back and he'll take notes on it. Like literally, he's always watching demos on how to improve, like what the meta is, like how are other people playing a spot, how are people like, you know, if, obviously like there's so many pros that, let's say you're playing the A bomb site and you don't watch the team that's attacking your A bomb site. Like how are you supposed to like know how to play or prep versus it? Like you need to be taking notes, and he has like a full notebook of everything that he's ever thought of. He's got it written down. And sorry. So like any nade he's learned, he's taken a screenshot of it, put it in the book. So if he needs to go back and look at it, he has it. But like he reviews every single demo of his and just like is always thinking about his gameplay on how to be better. Like if he loses one round, like he's gonna be figuring out and brainstorming in his head like, hey, I died this way. How can I play this better next time so that he's in the same situation again, he can play it better? And I think a lot of people just don't simply do that. They don't watch themselves play and just think about, how am I going to play this better next time? Like literally very simple. Like how are the players? But yeah, just like analyzing yourself and just watching a lot of demos and just like not just playing to play. You can't play to play unless you're like literally the most talented player in the world right now. You're not going to be the best.
I agree. I also think people do, on the flip side of that, people will do a different mistake, is they'll get a 4K one time doing something, and they'll think that's like their best play forever. And like they'll be like, this spot worked for me, because every once in a while you get a sick round there, and it's like, yeah, it's a high reward and it looks cool when it works, but like realistically, Counterstrike's not about having one 4K in a match, right? It's about getting 1 or 2 kills every time they come to your bomb site. You know, like at the end of the, if you go look at like hltv.org and you go to like, you know where they have the little clips after the matches? It will show you like Xanter's got a 3K or whatever. If you look at a lot of players that get like 30 kills in a game, it's not just a string of 5Ks. You know, like oftentimes they won't even be up there. You know, like they won't even be in there. They might have like 1v2 or something. Like it was just a lot of little kills the whole game. Like that they just, you know, survive, value your life. Because I mean, I play Face-It pugs and I don't value my life in them. I'm a hypocrite. But like if you just throw your life away and never save, like you're doing yourself a disservice. I think like a lot of people don't understand. You can bring guns to the next round, especially on maps like Inferno. When your teammates lose B, that's it. Go save.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just try to have a rhyme and reason for like everything that you do. Like if you are gonna push A on Mirage, like why are you pushing A on Mirage? Like do you need info? Like did you lose map control somewhere else? Like for you to just like, that's just like the biggest thing. Like try to have a reason for what you do.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good thing. And some players, like you said, work harder than others. And unless you're the naturally fucking greatest, like you got to work hard. Like you got to watch like the demos are your best free tool. So they're free. You just go download them.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is a lot of people think they work really hard. It's like, dude, I DM'd for 3 hours today. It's like,
they work hard in the wrong way. Even.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, bro, like that you're almost like convincing yourself you're working hard when you're doing that. You know what I mean? It's like, man, I DM'd for 3 fucking hours today. I'm gonna be nuts today. And then you just put yourself in terrible positions to take fights for the entire match.
Yeah. Everyone over focuses on deathmatch so hard.
Yeah,
3,000 aimbots kills.
You don't need to work on your mechanics. Like, I'll just throw out like 10s randomly here, because he would aim bots and just like show off his flicks all fucking day on stream. But then you don't understand how to read the game at all in game.
Yep.
So
no, he's a perfect example.
You're working the wrong way.
Like some of the best mechanics you've ever seen. Like like just being able to put crosshair on head, fucking incredible. Like 10s is one of probably maybe the best in the world, honestly. Like he was so fucking insane at that. And then you'd go into games and just like, nah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work the same because
stop aim training for years.
Because you haven't got yeah, he's done his quota. He's done. Just watch demos. Actually, he plays Valorant now. I don't know if it's the same for him over in Valorant, but it's just like, dude, it's like every now and then when you're like that and you have the mechanics like that, there will be games where you pop off and you drop 30 kills and it's gonna look hella flashy. But a lot of the time you're gonna die when you didn't need to die because you're just in a bad position.
Tens is kind of the definition of a person that blames a mistake on, well, if I just shot him, I would have got the kill. Like it's but he's like effing sick at Valorant. Like he probably is like, he's a top 3 player in North America for sure at that game. But I think once people really start understanding like more about strategy and like timing and things like that,
once it gets to the Counterstrike level,
once people start to neutralize him, he's gonna have to learn.
In his favor, though, as long as he learns with the game, he'll have a better shot in staying at the top in Valorant than he did in CS, because he was more behind in CS. Like, but I agree with you guys of like with adreN saying like, you know, you don't need a DM for 3 hours. However, if you're the guy that you're always watching demos and you're fucking missing kills, like you're the one, there are opposite ends where like they know every smoke, every flash, and everything. Sometimes you got to take a break and go fucking shoot people in some pugs and play greedy, play to kill people and try to get your skill up, because at the end of the day, you need to have a middle ground. You got to be able to like get the easy kills. You don't have to flick 180 everyone that you see, but you got to like just get the easy kills. Like if you get the easy kills and you have a brain, you'll do a lot better than you think.
There's like on that other side, the demo watcher people that just think they're self-titled geniuses and stuff like that. If they can't join a pug and just anchor their bomb site and defend it adequately, you know, 10 out of 15 rounds on that CT side against just people randomly pugging against you, like there's a problem there too. Like even though they're like they would never play like this in a match, but it's like if you can't defend that, like
say that too often.
It's just so ridiculous. Like that's, I feel like that's a problem with the NA scrimming scene right now, where it's like everyone thinks everyone else is being so stupid. Like, okay, well,
everyone on our team goes, this guy was so stupid.
Yeah.
Kill him then.
Yeah, I know. Like that's just been the MDL thing for so long. Like if you keep saying someone else in the server is stupid, it's like these guys are playing like idiots, or like they're not playing like this in a match. It's like well then kill them. Like then own them. Like. Use a flash then, or if you know what they're doing so well, just shoot them in the face.
Yeah, I hate that response.
And also, we did just have to lose Corey. There was a little bit of miscomms on our part, but he had to go do some stuff, but that's all right. We appreciate him fucking being here. Honestly, we appreciate that. So I'm gonna give our producer a little bit of time to. You already had the other overlay ready, right, Darren?
Of course. Right now it just says big problem, guys. Okay, one sec. So that I can set up the other one. So you guys are
that's perfect. We just keep going. We do have to go in about 20 minutes. We have a MDL match in 45 minutes. So we have to go in like 20 minutes and get our streams going, you know, get everything up and going. Thank you so much. But yeah, honestly,
I kind of lost my train of.
Dude, we can fucking barely beat you, dog. We were fucking struggling. We were talking about what it takes to get better. No, and I have that. It's almost like, especially in North America, when I talk to younger North American players, it's almost like they're always looking for excuses why it's not their fault they're playing bad. They're always looking for excuses why it's not their fault that they're playing bad. And so it's kind of tough. It's like, you see kids, switching mice constantly, changing res constantly, changing crosshairs constantly.
Hate that.
And it's just like, dude, you didn't miss that shot because you're on this res versus this res. I promise. Dude, that's not why you missed the shot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys know, like everyone comes in like to your chat and does exclamation res.
I know.
And I'm just like, bro, why?
I saw your sense command.
Why?
Yours just is randomly generated, right?
My resolution trolls people.
Yeah.
My sense trolls people. It just randomizes every single time.
I actually love that. Can I steal that from you? That's fucking hilarious.
It is funny.
It's funny. Yeah.
I'll get
This is what I've learned about, like, supposedly, like, when you're young and you're labeled high achieving, a lot of those people kind of like take that label and then they fall off later in life because they have a hard time dedicating themselves to a thing. That's kind of how I feel sense and res is for a lot of people, where it's like they're afraid that if they stay on a res and they just like they fail at it after grinding it for long times, then they have to actually look inwards and be like, oh shit, maybe it's not the res or whatever. But it's always going to be that back of the mind excuse that like, okay, it's my res today or something like that. But it's like that's not really actually being self-critical in the right ways. Like you need to actually look at it, the game, and like be like, what could I have done better? And the fact, it's no coincidence that Alicia's valedictorian and really effing good at games. Like that's just that goes hand in hand. Like he knows how to study. He knew how to study, so he knew how to like learn from his mistakes. Like that's just, it makes so much sense. And
it might help some people like to actually mentally reset with a res change. Like unfortunately, like maybe somehow they're like, oh, new res, new me. And like they just somehow like mentally reset, but you gotta look deeper than that.
Changing your mouse is sometimes good. Like it's sometimes the right change because it's like, oh, you were missing shots. But like it's not gonna help you for years. Like if you're doing it for like 10 months straight, it's like, dude, you just need to pick something.
You need to find what shape it works best for you.
Yeah.
Maybe try out like 5 different mice if you're like, kind of hardcore.
If you're balling,
if you're balling,
you got it. Or
you go to the store and just like put your hand on all the mice.
Yeah, exactly.
Not right now. You can't. COVID.
Oh yeah, that's true. You don't want bring some gloves.
Yeah, sanitize your gloves.
Yeah.
Amazon's return policy is really good.
Actually,
you could just send anything back. You could break the mouse, and they're just like, well, it's defective. It's like, okay, well, you just slammed it on the table, I guess. But whatever.
That actually happened to me with my $300 processor that I got, and I didn't insert it properly, and the pins got bent. $300 back into my account pretty quick though. So whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, pins.
Bezos not gonna miss that money. I'm gonna tell you.
No, he's fine. But like the only time I ever changed mice was when new technology would come out. Like I was on the Death Adder for years, and then Zowie had the best sensor for a while. So I was like, okay, shit. So then I switched to the EC2B, and then Logitech's wireless tech started becoming like really good, and I was like G403, and then the G703 came out.
Yeah.
The newer updated sensors, so now I have the newest G703. But I've literally been using the G403 for like 3 years. Before that, I used the EC2B for like a year.
Actually, I can't talk shit on that mouse.
The MX518.
God, fucking God.
Yeah.
No, but they're both sick. Is that actually what you use?
I use the MX518.
Actually?
Yeah.
Man,
it's so
old school,
dude. I've been using it. I came all full circle with it. MX518, G5, G500, G500. This MX518 again.
That was my favorite mouse growing up. I used that shit for like at least 5 years.
Dude, there's no way that sensor tech in that mouse is anything.
No, this is the legendary edition.
They like
Logitech did a this is an update. They did a re-release.
Oh, smart. I was gonna say, dude, that sensor tech. You're like using a 2013 Death Adder.
It spins on you and you turn around.
That's not gonna be good. But okay, if they did a remake, then
I've been using the same mouse shape for like literally 15 years now. It's or something like that. 13, I think. Yeah,
you know what you're gonna need to do? You're gonna need to learn how to take sensors out of mice and put them into other ones, because Corey does that. Corey, I wish he was still here to talk about this, because he loves this fucking topic. He's so into it. But he loves the shape of the Kinzu, right? But first of all, Kinzus are like, you can't find Kinzus anywhere. Guardian played on the Kinzu for years, and apparently Guardian, according to Corey, Guardian bought the entire stock of Kinzus.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. That actually did happen. He has got like a closet full of them.
Yeah, that's like just his mouse. Yeah. But so what Corey did is he had an old Kinzu, but the sensor broke. So he took a Logitech sensor and put it into the Kinzu. Then he could use it, but he said it's not the same because the Kinzu sensor has like built-in, like a small amount of built-in mouse accel or something. So that you can't like turn off, or you can't, like, even with raw input, like the raw input of the sensor is a little bit of mouse accel. Yeah. And so there's something. I wish Corey was here, because I bet he's listening.
I tried doing that actually.
I have a question for adreN though before we finish this out or anything. I guess like so it's always harder from an outsider's perspective looking in to find out what a coach actually brings to a team. So I'd be just interested from your perspective, what did you bring Liquid, especially during their Grand Slam run?
I mean, I just tried to keep the guys on the same page and just like as focused as possible. So just like it was mostly strategy, honestly, and like one of the biggest changes of why they ended up not winning me anymore is like that. I felt like they needed a more of a socially like
morale coach.
Dominant, like morale. Yeah, because I feel like at a certain point, like in terms of strategic like stance, like I could only bring so much to a certain point. Like you kind of like ran your course. Yeah. And that was mostly what I was doing. I was watching demos, as many demos as I could on us, on the opponents, bringing new fresh stuff like new smokes, new strats that I'm seeing other like meta. So it's mostly like just strategic stuff and make sure everyone's on the same page. Like, hey guys, like what's our pistol round for CT side? What's our pistol round for T side? Like make sure we're never skipping steps on like what we're going to be doing. What's our first gun round strat? What's our game plan for the map? Like what are we trying to abuse? How are we trying to run it? Stuff like that. And obviously it was working well, and like we were just fucking destroying ship. And then like as stuff breaks down, I definitely could have been more dominant on like what I expect out of people. Because I feel like I mean I don't want to go into anything specifically, but yeah, they definitely need a different coaching style. I think more socially than strategically.
So if you were to, I feel like I kind of learned like that in a microcosm with Davy's team with Space Station. Kind of like I feel like I don't know. I mean, like that team was kind of falling apart in some ways, but I felt like I think that's something that a lot of analyst types in the scene will go into a team with, where it's like you want to bring some strats, you might help them with like calling for a round or two, or like maybe a setup or whatever. But but like it actually helps so much. Like I feel like this whole year, I almost feel like one of the best moves all year was EG getting Zeus, because I feel like that just works so well. Like when you hear the comms that Zeus brings them, it's like, holy shit, I'm inspired just listening to that, you know? So that's kind of stuff is like, if you're going to a new team in the future, I don't know if you have any plans to be a coach, or actually that's a question too, but is that something you're going to just like be more cognizant of?
Oh, you're saying like next time
social, like, so yeah. Or okay, actually one, do you think you would coach a team in the future again?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not like for sure on like what I want to do in the future. I'm just taking some time off to like really reevaluate like definitely what I want to do before I do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I want to do. I want to hopefully maybe wait till CSGO goes back to LAN.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I'm kind of just waiting to see like what's going on in the ecosystem before I, jump back in. But yeah, I mean, I definitely learned a lot with being on Liquid. And I definitely think I've become a better coach within the entire time I've been there. And I would take like a little bit of a different approach. I mean, I am the person I am at the end of the day in terms of like my personality and all that stuff. So like I can only change so much in terms of that. But because I'm not the dude that's going to be behind a team like cheerleading. I know I had like so much criticism like, oh, adreN's behind them. He's not even doing anything.
He's quiet.
Like, I can't fucking talk, first of all. They don't fucking see me behind them. What am I supposed to do? Have my pom-poms? Like, I was like, all right, man. Like, I am who I am. Like, yeah, like personality-wise, you're not going to get much different. But in terms of, like, what I expect out of players, in terms of, like, their hard work and, like, what they're bringing to practice and, like, their motivation and stuff is, like, definitely stuff I've learned. And I would definitely,
Yeah, one thing I would look into for you is getting bigger hands, because I noticed Zonic, for example, has gigantic hands. So anytime he touches someone's
rubs,
you need to up your game there.
Yeah, adreN's not shoulder rubbing them enough. It's insane.
No, think about
it's
it.
Ridiculous.
Like, anytime Zonic goes up and like slaps somebody on the back after they win a round or something, like you can feel like there's like, oh fucking shit, like when adreN walks up, it's just like they're like, who's that? What is, like it doesn't work the same. You're gonna have to start like like some finger curls, maybe you gotta really get those. You gotta get some nice meaty hands so that way when you walk. Or just start fucking slapping people in the face, like like that hype up shit, like I don't know if you watch UFC. I don't think you do. Do you?
No, not really.
Okay, well, sometimes before the fights, when the fighters are walking out there, they're doing their like, and they're jumping up and down, and their coach will walk up and just go like slap, 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 and just slap them all over. That's what you got to do. Then no one will ever say, man, adreN's just not doing that much behind the team. If someone like after they win a round, not even when they fuck up, when they win a round, you walk up behind and just slap them in the face or some shit.
I mean, I definitely think it is a really important part for like a coach to like bring up the morale and keep the guys hyped. And honestly, like I'm definitely not the best at that. And like that is one of the things that Zeus is really fucking good at. And I think the guys on EG are kind of more passive people. So like I think Zeus is like a perfect coach for them just because he's gonna like, bring the hype for them.
Well, and the other thing is too, like, you say almost like bring the hype. It's almost not even bring the hype. It's I think it's more, a better way to describe it is keeping them focused, because sometimes players lose focus and there's certain people and personalities where if someone's like, no, come on, bro, let's go. And they're like, yeah, okay, let's fuck go. But for some people, if you say that and they're down, it's just like, man, fuck you. Like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, so like sometimes that's actually not what a player needs. Like sometimes being that guy who's like, all right, forget about it. Next round, forget about it next round. And the person be like, oh, now I'm just tilted. Like, now I'm just mad. Like, I've had teammates where if you said that to them, it would make them more tilted to say that. Like, you have to know the right way to keep players focused, not just be a hype man. Sometimes being a hype man, there will be players who are just like, oh my God, will this guy shut the fuck up, please? Like, I'm trying to fucking focus and this guy just keeps yelling, let's go. And I'm like, I'm really fucking sick of this right now, you know? So it really just does depend on the player. It's not like a one shoe fits all as far as teams go.
I have one more kind of clickbaity question. That's kind of like, so from your perspective,
write this down for the title.
Okay. it's just okay. Like, not including Zonic, who do you think are maybe the 5 best coaches in the scene? No order, but just.
I mean,
like,
the hardest thing
so
is
hard
like,
to tell.
You don't really know what they're bringing. Like,
adreN says Zonic isn't best coach in world.
I mean,
well, yeah. Okay, sure, you can include Zonic.
Zonic.
Yeah, but like, Zonic's just definitely the best. I feel like I don't think anyone can deny
No. There's, no doubt. You can give him that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have like a list. It's obviously like I'm not like even mentoring anyone other coach because there's zero material out there. You have no idea what they're doing for the team, like what they're bringing to the table. I don't know. I honestly don't have a list. Sorry for clickbait.
How about then like one coach not including Zeus where he joined the team and it's like, oh, they got better. Like that. How about that? Where you could see the difference in their play.
Okay, I think that like, so I'll just sort of jump in and give Eric some time to think about it and, you know, ponder his thoughts. I think, you know, you look at it, I think it depends. I think that it's hard to say for 100% sure Zonic is the best coach in the world. Like, it's easy to say it. It's easy to say it because Charles wins every tournament, and Zonic clearly has an effect on that team in many ways. Everybody speaks very highly of him. He clearly has a good work ethic. You know, he's got the big hands, just like you need. But I think that it's also, you know, you get to a point where you have a guy like Kassad who always has made teams look better than they were before he joined them. Always, to the point where Kassad joins a team, that team gets better. No matter what, when Kassad goes to a team, that team gets better. You know, so even if it's like a tier 2 team, all of a sudden they're competing at a tier 1 level. You know, like even with that original Renegades lineup, right, where he was around for the first time, they went from like right on the edge of being one of the best teams in North America to all of a sudden one of the best teams in North America winning international lands, right? Like instantly, like that, like there's a clear line to when Kassad joins to how much better they get.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's unfair because like maybe Kassad with Astralis, maybe Astralis is even better than they are right now. Right. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying Zonic's obviously, this is going to end up being weird, but I'm just saying you don't actually know is sort of the point, like for sure who the best is. So I think it's safe to say that of the top 5, I think Zonic that are currently coaching like right now, Zonic, Zeus, Kassad. I think the coach for Vitality has a really good. I don't remember his name. He's got that weird.
Xtaz.
Xtaz. Yeah, I think he's got a really good shout for himself. I think. There's one more. I actually think.
Who's the G2's coach?
I was about to say I don't remember. Malik. Is it Malik?
That sounds about right. He used to be the coach of Envy back in the day. So
yeah,
when they were,
I've heard really good things about him from just about everybody in the scene over there. So yeah, there's actually a lot, but like you said, you don't really know for sure.
Yeah,
so.
it's definitely tough. Like if they're like more of like a social coach, like I'm saying, or like more of a strategic coach, or like what they're bringing. I don't know.
Oh, on the Zonic thing though, like
okay,
the comparison you would make with Zonic though is like Glaive versus Kerrigan, where Kerrigan joins a new roster. He's had success with like every roster he's been in. Glaive's had really, really good success with one roster, like one core roster. So it's like that with Zonic. I feel like Zonic's had really crazy success with one roster. It's the best team of all time, but like you don't know. I mean, Kassad, Zeus, some of these coaches have had a lot of success with a lot of different rosters. So
true.
Yeah, especially Zeus. Brazilian teams, North American teams, been all over, and every single
Peacemaker.
You could say Peacemaker. Yeah, it's not obviously at one point that would have been a meme, but I think at this point, it's actually reasonable to say that he's, you know, honestly good for him. You know, like actually
he's
though,
still around coaching. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, I think Peacemaker's
now, I think
he's on Mad Lions. Yeah,
Mad Lions, and they just lost.
They were doing pretty good there for a while.
By the way, Asilian just went back. Copenhagen Flames or whatever. So he just never lasts on a team. Never lasts. He joins a team, they do well. Then a couple months later, he's out every time.
The Danish Daps.
Exactly.
Not quite.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's not. It's not quite.
Dude, okay, so we do have to wrap this up really soon, but like,
you have to go to the bathroom real bad.
Just
a lot of water.
Same.
All right. So yeah, all right. So perfect. We will wrap it up here then. adreN, thank you for coming on.
Yep.
So again, you got anything to plug? Your Twitch, your Twitter? Don't feel like it.
Just watch. You guys know where to find me. Search me on Google if you want to see me.
Yeah, watch all of Mythic's games. Watch us play. But don't forget to watch Maui Snake and Darian here, our producer, have also made another show called Server Time. I did that yesterday. Don't forget to check that out. They have a Patreon. We have one. Don't sign up to it. Sign up to theirs. And so yeah, go check them out. Obviously, don't forget to check out Corey, twitch.tv/Semphis. He streams pretty much every night. Go follow him on Twitter. All the links will be down in the description. Thank you guys for watching our newest episode. This has been Peaker's Advantage, episode 25, and we will see you guys really soon.